Hokage. I can evolve summoning beasts. Chapter 41. Because the two talents of Incarnation Shadow and Control Shadow can be used together. And the nature of Shadow is more complicated than that of Storm. So Baisan experimented for nearly 3 hours before he roughly mastered the basic application of these two talents. As for the talent of Yin-Dun Affinity, in addition to being able to show abilities similar to telekinesis, it can also amplify all abilities belonging to Yin-Dun. For example, the two talents of Incarnation Shadow and Control Shadow, as well as all illusions. When Baisan almost understood these three talents, it was already late at night. After washing up, Baisan should go to bed. But before falling asleep, Baisan also thought about the evolutionary materials needed for the third evolution of Shadow. Evolution requirements. Indra's blood 100 milliliters. 100 milliliters of Indra's blood. This material is easy to get, but also difficult to get. Baisan has a good relationship with Uchiha Itachi. This generation of Indra is Uchiha Sasuke, the younger brother of Uchiha Itachi. Although Uchiha Itachi values his brother Uchiha Sasuke very much. But I only need 100 milliliters of blood. He shouldn't refuse. Baisan murmured before falling asleep. And then, he fell asleep. The next day, in the morning, Baisan still trained with Might Guy, Tiantian, and Naruto, and practiced physical skills together. In the afternoon, Baisan met Uchiha Shisui. This time, Baisan took the initiative to mention his ability. Senior Shisui, you should have guessed it. If I want to evolve Summoning Beast, I must rely on external forces and evolution materials to evolve Summoning Beast. Listening to Baisan's words, Uchiha Shisui nodded gently. Listening to Baisan's words, Uchiha Shisui also heard it. Baisan wanted him to help him collect evolution materials. And this evolution material seemed to have some special relationship with him. But no matter what, Uchiha Shisui felt that as long as it was not something that violated his bottom line, he would not mind helping. Just as Uchiha Shisui was thinking this, Baisan continued to say, the first evolution of Shadow requires 100 crow feathers. The second evolution of Shadow requires 10 hairs of Nara clan ninjas. Speaking of this, Baisan paused slightly, and then continued, and the third evolution of Shadow requires 100 milliliters of Uchiha Sasuke's blood. 100 milliliters of Uchiha Sasuke's blood. Listening to Baisan's words, Uchiha Shisui frowned and whispered in a low voice with some doubts. He felt that Uchiha Sasuke was special. Although his talent was good, it was far worse than his brother Uchiha Itachi. Not to mention compared with Uchiha Itachi, even compared with himself, this Uchiha Sasuke's talent was not good enough. That's why Uchiha Shisui was very confused. But seeing the seriousness on Baisan's face, Uchiha Shisui didn't think Baisan would lie to him. Think about it this way. Baisan's ability to evolve Summoning Beast is really weird. But this weirdness also represents strength. Uchiha Shisui has collected information about Baisan, so he naturally knows how powerful Baisan's ability is. That ninja dog Hayate, only evolved twice in Baisan's hands, has the strength of Jonin, and even has very weird abilities, which can be matched by ordinary elite Jonin. Now that the crow Shadow has also evolved twice, doesn't it mean that the little crow at the beginning also has the strength comparable to Jonin, or even elite Jonin? How much time has passed? It really makes Uchiha Shisui a little unbelievable. Think about it this way. Baisan's bloodline limit is really powerful to ultimate. Even more powerful than Sharingan. If I took 100 milliliters of Uchiha Sasuke's blood and gave it to Baisan, and let Crow Shadow evolve again. Doesn't that mean Crow Shadow will have the power of Shadow? This really made Uchiha Shisui stunned. Then Uchiha Shisui began to think about the pros and cons in his mind. After a long silence, Uchiha Shisui took a deep breath, and then replied carefully, I will give you Uchiha Sasuke's blood tomorrow. Thank you very much. Baisan replied carefully. To be honest, Baisan got too many benefits from Uchiha Shisui. So Baisan also made a decision. If you need it, Senior Shisui, I can lend you my power. Baisan promised seriously. Seeing Baisan's reaction, Uchiha Shisui was also slightly moved. Baisan is willing to lend me his power. Then I should naturally try my best to help Baisan become stronger. The stronger Baizan's power is, the stronger the power he borrows will be, and the safer Uchiha will be. The stronger Baizan's power is, the stronger the power to protect Konoha will be, and the safer Konoha village will be. This is a good thing. Baizan, you can tell me if you have any needs, and I will try my best to meet you. Uchiha Shisui made a promise to Baizan for the second time. Continue to practice. After nodding, Baizan smiled and said, okay, continue to practice. Uchiha Shisui also smiled at Baizan. After the two smiled at each other, they continued to practice. Soon, the sun went down. Baizan said goodbye to Uchiha Shisui and went home. After dinner, Baizan continued to study and develop the wind-style secret technique. As for the development of shadow ability, Baizan decided to develop the wind-style secret technique that had already had some clues before developing the shadow ability. And in the afternoon of the next day, Uchiha Shisui handed Baizan a vial of Uchiha Sasuke's blood as promised. Baizan, I have accepted an S-level mission. Uchiha Shisui said in a deep voice after handing the vial of Uchiha Sasuke's blood to Baizan. Hearing Uchiha Shisui's words, Baizan understood the meaning of Uchiha Shisui's words. Uchiha Shisui wanted to fake his death and get away with this mission. It seems that Uchiha Itachi has already prepared a plan to transport the child. Thinking of this, Baizan also replied in a deep voice, I understand, you can contact me at any time if you have anything. As for how to contact, Baizan thought about Uchiha Shisui's ability, so he didn't elaborate. Hearing Baizan's answer, Uchiha Shisui nodded gently, and then said with some emotion, I won't practice today, just chat casually. Yeah. Baizan's tone was also a bit heavy. Because Baizan knew. After this separation, it will be hard for me to see Uchiha Shisui again. Then, Uchiha Shisui and Baizan sat in the wooden house and chatted casually. Time passed quickly. After the sun went down, the two said goodbye to each other. After returning home, Baizan thought about it and turned his eyes to Hongyi. After this period of training, Hongyi has almost mastered its current strength and talent. And the 1000 grams of flame heart stone has been in Baizan's place for a while. So, Hongyi should also undergo the second evolution. Hongyi, you have performed well during this period. After a little adjustment, you should welcome the second evolution. Baizan said with a smile. Listening to Baizan's words, Hongyi's ruby-like eyes kept shining, and then looked at Baizan with excitement and joy. With his head lowered, Hongyi made a respectful acceptance, looking very docile and cute. Looking at the red-clothed creature, Baizan took out the 1 kilogram flame heart stone. The flame heart stone was black with red, and was very small, only the size of a glass ball. It only took the sum of 30 or 40 pieces to make up this 1 kilogram. After placing the flame heart stone in front of him, Baizan directly opened the system attribute page of the red-clothed creature. Summoning Beast. Red-clothed creature. Race. Red fire fox. Talent. Lightness of fire, dexterity of fire, fire style affinity. Shared talent. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution requirement. Flame heart stone, 1000 grams. Whether to evolve. Looking at the 4 big words at the bottom of the attribute page, Baizan made his choice without any hesitation. Evolve. At the moment when Baizan made his choice, the familiar and mysterious gray and chaotic evolution light appeared from the void again in an instant. The gray and chaotic evolutionary light passed through the void, and almost instantly enveloped the 1 kilogram flame heart stone, and then transformed the flame heart stone into a ball of black and red-hot flames. Then, this ball of black and red-hot flames drew a beautiful parabola from the air in an instant, and finally fell on the red-clothed person from above. Sizzle. The black and red-hot flames rose in an instant, and the rolling heat waves swept in all directions. The temperature in the room rose by 10 degrees Celsius almost instantly. Fortunately, Baizan is a ninja, and the strength of Gale Shadow is not bad. They can resist small temperature changes. However, resistance is resistance, but it is still a bit hot. I don't know what this black and red flame is. It's so hot, but it won't burn anything. But this evolution really made me notice that maybe some summoning beasts will produce some destructive anomalies when they evolve. It seems that I have to find a safer place to evolve in the future. Maybe I should buy a bigger house. Baizan took a step back and thought to himself. Watching Bison retreat, Gale and Shadow also took a step back silently, and then continued to watch the evolving red clothes quietly. Bison, Gale, and Shadow all felt a little uncomfortable with the heat. But the red clothes bathed in the black and red flames didn't feel uncomfortable at all, but looked very enjoyable. Woo! Woo! Red clothes called in a low voice. Similar to the last evolution, red clothes began to slowly absorb the black and red flames. As the black and red hot flames became smaller and smaller, the shape of red clothes also slowly changed. On the fiery red fur, some black patterns gradually appeared, on the forehead, neck, limbs. Overall, it looked a little more noble and elegant than before. In addition to these subtle changes, the biggest change was naturally the red tail. 3 tails became 6 tails. At the moment when the black and red hot flames were completely absorbed by the red clothes. At the moment when the 6 tails swayed gently. At the moment when the red clothes evolved completely. The series of cold but pleasant system prompts came as expected. Ding. Closing square bracket. Evolution completed. Opening the Summoning Beast attribute page. Opening. Summoning Beast. Red clothes. Race. 6 tails Blazing Fox. Talents. Blazing Fox Fire. Blazing Fire Steps. Fire Body Transformation. Shared Talents. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. 9 tails Chakra 1000 units. Just after the attribute page popped up, the system prompt sounded. Ding. Closing square bracket. Power. Talent shared. As soon as this mechanical sound fell. A warm energy current as warm as flames. It emerged directly from the void, and then quickly poured into Bison's body, flowing all over his body, limbs and bones. The second evolution of Gale and Shadow both gained the ability to transform their bodies into elements. But the second evolution of red clothes was different. Bison thought that the evolutionary direction of each summoning beast might be somewhat different. However, this difference can be large or small. The talent of Blazing Fox Fire means that red clothes can release and control a special flame called Blazing Fox Fire. This flame. It is a bloodline limit fire that is higher than ordinary flames, and it is also a kind of strange fire. Its nature is more fiery and more violent. As for the talent of Blazing Fire Step, it represents the fusion and upgrade of the lightness of fire and the dexterity of fire. The meaning is also very simple. That is, the soles of red clothes can manifest flames. And this flame on the soles of the feet can not only speed up red clothes, but also make red clothes fly in the air. This is very interesting. The fox with flames on the soles of the feet and can fly is very handsome. The last talent called Fire Body Transformation has a simpler effect. It means the body size becomes bigger or smaller. Combined with the talent of Blazing Fire Step, Hongyi has become a very fast and handsome mount that can fly. It can be transformed into a very small body at ordinary times, which is convenient for life and can be used as a pet. It can become very huge when needed and used for riding. Well, it is necessary to test the limit of this talent, how small it can become, and how big it can become. But no matter how you think about it, Bison thinks it is enough for him to ride. And there is. Since Hongyi has obtained a talent similar to change in the second evolution. Then when Hongyi evolves for the third time, will he be able to transform like a monster? Bison suddenly looks forward to it. Looking down, Bison looked at this beautiful and dazzling 6 tails fiery fox Hongyi, and his eyes couldn't help but have a bit of appreciation. It is really beautiful. After transforming, it may be even more beautiful. However, after thinking for a moment, Bison said directly, Hongyi, you have completed your evolution, and it is time to practice hard. Keep working hard and don't slack off. Woo, 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 woo. Hongyi nodded respectfully and docilely. Go. Bison also nodded to Jiafeng and Enying. Then, the dog, the crow, and the fox left the room and went to practice in the courtyard. Speaking of which, after I develop my own moves, I should also develop some suitable moves for Gale, Shadow, and Red. Otherwise, relying solely on strength and talent to fight seems to be unable to exert their true power. Just like Pokemon trainers, they all have to train their own Pokemon and teach them moves in various ways, and even help them develop moves. Training is needless to say. As mature and obedient summoning beasts, they can consciously practice. But the moves are still a bit problematic for the time being. Well, but there's no rush. I haven't even developed my own moves yet, so how can I develop moves for them? Anyway, I'm still young and have a lot of time. After I develop my own moves and become familiar with the various properties of talent, it will be twice as easy to develop their moves. Bai Zan thought silently. After a slight pause, Bai Zan took out the small bottle of blood belonging to Uchiha Sasuke. This is indeed Indra's blood. Bai Zan has confirmed it with the system. So the question Bai Zan needs to consider now is when he should let Shadow evolve for the third time. The evolution material required for the third evolution of Gale is 1000 units of one-tail Shukaku chakra. Gaara is still in Sunagakure now, and for the sake of safety, Bai Zan still thinks that he will collect one-tail Shukaku chakra when Chunin takes the exam. The evolution material required for the third evolution of Red Clothes is 1000 units of Nine Tails Kurama chakra. Needless to say, Bai Zan and Uzumaki Naruto have a good relationship. As long as Bai Zan wants it, Uzumaki Naruto will definitely give it. But the problem is that Uzumaki Naruto is not able to release Nine Tails chakra now. Moreover, even if Uzumaki Naruto can release Nine Tails chakra now, it is still too dangerous in Konoha village where Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo are both there. Bai Zan needs safe growth time now, so he won't do such a thing. Let's wait until the future Wave Country mission to collect Nine Tails chakra. Uzumaki Naruto can't escape anyway. And Uzumaki Naruto's personality is really good to friends and really values them. So Bai Zan is not in a hurry. After analyzing it this way, now the only choice Bai Zan can make. It's still the time for Shadow's third evolution. Wait a while, anyway, Indra's blood is already in my hands, no need to rush. Bai Zan murmured at last, and then cast his eyes on the scrolls on the table. It's time to learn. Speaking of which, Bai Zan has not yet fully developed and utilized the two talents of Gale's Storm Combat Body and Storm Power. Let alone the talents of Shadow and Red Clothes. So the matter of recovering the new summoning beast can be put aside for a while. Time is silent. About 2 months later, Uchiha Shisui died in the mission. In the cemetery of Konoha. There was also an extra tombstone. That day, Bai Zan went to the cemetery and performed a show. After Uchiha Shisui died, Uchiha Itachi used the death of Uchiha Shisui as an excuse to find Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo and negotiate. Another month passed. A strange disease was introduced into the Uchiha clan, killing many young children with weak resistance. So, this matter came to an end. The following time was really peaceful. Nothing major happened, and not too many minor things either. Bai Zan practiced physical skills with Might Guy, Tiantian, and Naruto every morning to exercise his body. The weight has been adapted from 30 kilograms to 300 kilograms. The wind-style secret technique has also completed a prototype, and it only needs to be continuously improved. Everything went so smoothly. But today, there were some waves. Oni-chan, Naruto, Teacher Guy, I'm going to school tomorrow. But I really want to be with you, but I don't completely want to go to school. Tiantian looked at Bai Zan, Naruto, and Might Guy pitifully, as if he wanted to find some comfort. Ha 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 ha, it turns out that Tiantian has reached the age to go to Jonin school, which really makes me miss it. Quote. Might Guy smiled and sighed. After a slight pause, Might Guy's face suddenly straightened, and then he said with some nostalgia, cautiously and seriously. It's really good to be with us, but you have to go to school well. Ninja school is not just for learning how to become a ninja. You can also gain friends and partners, which is an extremely important part of life. Tiantian didn't seem to feel much. But when Naruto heard the words, friends, and partners, his eyes couldn't help but reveal some yearning and expectation. It feels good, I also want to go to Jonin school. Naruto, you have to wait for another year. Next year you will go to school with Bai Zan. Maybe you can be assigned to the same class. Might Guy patted Naruto on the shoulder. I also want to be in the same class with Oni-chan, otherwise I will go to school next year. Tiantian said uncertainly. After listening to Tiantian's words, Might Guy said directly after a moment of silence, although it is not a big deal, it is better to abide by the policies of the village and the school. Even Might Guy attaches great importance to abiding by the rules. After listening to them say so much, Bai Zan said directly, there is a ninjutsu called Shadow Clone. If you want to go to school, go to school. If you don't want to go to school, let Shadow Clone go to school. After listening to Baisan's words, Might Guy's expression suddenly froze. It seems that he just thought of it. Kakashi did this before. Naruto's eyes also showed a look of sudden enlightenment. Because of Baisan, Naruto now also learned this Shadow Clone. As for the multiple Shadow Clone technique, Might Guy thinks that Naruto is too young to practice such a dangerous forbidden technique. Since Might Guy taught Naruto Shadow Clone technique, Might Guy will naturally not teach Tian. So, at this time, Tian still looked at Baisan with admiration. Sure enough, Oni-chan is the best. Since Tian is going to school tomorrow, let's go to a picnic to celebrate today. Baisan suggested with a smile. As Baisan's words fell, Tian, Naruto, Might Guy, and even Jinwan under Naruto's feet, almost lit up their eyes at the same time. Baisan's cooking skills have improved again during this period of time. And they all tasted Baisan's cooking. It's so good. Naruto shouted. Woof. Woof. Jinwan responded to his master. It's so happy to taste Oni-chan's cooking again. Tian smiled. Good attention, let's act quickly. Might Guy couldn't wait. I have prepared the things, just find an open space. Baisan responded with a smile. Then, the picnic began. Happy times always pass very briefly. Unknowingly, the sun went down again. The next day, Tian went to school with his real body. According to Tian, he would experience the feeling of going to school with his real body for a few days. If he didn't like it, he would go to school with Shadow Clone in the future. Baisan was not surprised by Tian's decision. Because Baisan's practice was still going on. That's it. Baisan turned 6 years old. In a month, Baisan and Naruto would go to school. Today, Baisan finally perfected his wind-style secret technique. Baisan, you and Naruto will also start school, and my vacation is over. Tomorrow I will go out to do an A-level mission. So today I will give you a very important test. Might Guy's tone was very serious. Naruto looked at him expectantly. For the test, Naruto has done it countless times in the past 2 years. Speaking of which, Naruto has a sage body, a strong physique, strong vitality, and super strong self-healing ability, which is particularly suitable for practicing physical skills. No matter how tired you are from practicing during the day, you will be fully recovered the next day after a good sleep at night. This has greatly improved Naruto in the past 2 years and has also mastered a good strength. He can almost be regarded as a chunin who specializes in physical skills. But just like this, Naruto is naturally not as good as Baisan. During this period of time, Naruto not only sparred with Might Guy many times, but also sparred with Baisan many times. It is precisely because of this. Naruto understands the strength of Baisan. And the purpose of this important test today, not only Baisan guessed, but also Naruto. 8 Inner Gates Formation. Might Guy has made up his mind to pass this forbidden technique to Baisan. As for himself, Naruto knows that he is not as good as Baisan. In addition, Naruto is originally a bright person, and he will not think that Might Guy's behavior is unfair, or jealous of Baisan. So, Naruto is just looking forward to this test. Just as Baisan is also looking forward to 8 Inner Gates. Yes. Baisan replied seriously. Very good. Might Guy nodded gently, and still said carefully and seriously, I will use the forbidden technique in this assessment. So Baisan, please show all your strength and let me see your true power. As he said this, Might Guy made a gesture of charging. I will, Teacher Guy. Baisan nodded seriously. Baisan's wind-style secret technique has been completely perfected. Since Might Guy is serious, then take this opportunity. Let's see the advantages and disadvantages of the wind-style code and the 8 inner gates. 8 inner gates, the 4th gate, the wound gate, open. After a roar, the violent green chakra burst out from Might Guy's body in an instant, releasing extremely amazing energy. Along with the surging chakra, Might Guy's whole body began to be congested, and even some capillaries broke. This is the meaning of the 4th gate of the 8 inner gates. If you want to hurt the enemy, you must hurt yourself first. But that's it. Opening the 4th gate of the 8 inner gates also means that Might Guy has started to take it seriously. The next few gates. Either it's an explosion, or it's a fight to the death, or even a mutual destruction. Ha! Ha! The violent green chakra on Might Guy's body continued to ravage the surrounding air, and clearly visible streams of air blew in all directions. Although it has no lethality, it is also extremely Hokage, with a huge and terrifying momentum. Bai Zan, do it. Might Guy invited with a normal look. As Might Guy who can open the death gate, the slight pain brought by opening the fourth gate is just a piece of cake for Might Guy. It can be completely ignored. Listening to Might Guy's invitation, Bai Zan's momentum changed in an instant. Chakra was mobilized in an instant, and under Bai Zan's control, nature transformation and shape change occurred. Wind-style suit. Open. In just one breath, the wind-style chakra, which seemed to be real, formed a cool and Hokage storm suit on Bai Zan's body. The raging wind swept the airflow, and the terrifying momentum negatively pressed the 8 wildernesses. This is the result of Bai Zan's 2 years. The powerful ninjutsu of the lightning-style armor, which can completely rival the fundamental secret technique of the Hokage lineage, is the wind-style suit. Bai Zan, has your secret technique finally been perfected? Such a terrifying momentum is worthy of Bai Zan. Might Guy couldn't help but reveal a smile of relief, appreciation, and excitement on his face. Might Guy. Not only a ninja, but also a warrior eager to fight. Yes, it's finally perfected, Teacher Guy, I'm going to fight. Bai Zan said in a deep voice. After the words fell, Bai Zan turned into a phantom. 1,000 blades. A punch was thrown, and the wind rose. The violent airflow blasted out with Bai Zan's fist, and in an instant it turned into dense and tiny wind blades. Under Bai Zan's control, these tiny sharp wind blades directly turned into a boxing glove, wrapping Bai Zan's fist. Facing Bai Zan's move, Might Guy launched a powerful physical technique in the wounded state. Excitation Leaf Strong Whirlwind. In a flash, it was fist against leg. Bang! A dull collision sound was heard, and then the violent airflow swept and raged in all directions, causing the dust and smoke to rise high, and the terrifying aftermath was like a small explosion. Then, Bai Zan and Might Guy's fists, elbows, legs, knees, shoulders, everything turned into a peerless weapon capable of killing people. Heavy Hammer. Konoha Bad Rock Rising. Crazy Gun. Power Prelude. Tomahawk. Leaf Great Whirlwind. Bang. 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 Every collision was a small explosion, a raging airflow, a thunderous roar, and a cloud of dust. In Bai Zan's hands, the storm became the most obedient pet, and also the most ferocious and terrifying killing weapon. With every punch, stab, palm hammer, leg kick, finger stab, knee strike of Bai Zan, the storm was instantly transformed into a wind blade, wind hammer, wind gun, wind thorn, wind needle, wind drill. Tear, pierce, bomb, shock, strangle, drill. Facing such a violent offensive by Bai Zan, Might Guy, who was in the wounded state, slowly fell into a disadvantage. Naruto, who was standing by, couldn't help but widen his eyes after seeing this scene. He didn't expect that the moves developed by Bai Zan were so terrifying and powerful. Even Mr. Guy, who used the forbidden technique, couldn't beat Bai Zan. Thinking about it this way, could the moves developed by Bai Zan also be considered forbidden technique? The power of this forbidden technique is really terrifying. Naruto looked at the 2 incredibly fast phantoms in front of him and couldn't help but fall into silence. Strength, speed, reaction, momentum. Such changes are indeed worthy of forbidden technique. Naruto couldn't help but sigh with emotion. After feeling the power of Bai Zan, Might Guy quickly retreated with the help of the powerful interaction force after fighting with Bai Zan. After being nearly 10 meters away from Bai Zan, Might Guy continued to make a charging action. Bai Zan, your moves are really powerful. Even if I open the 4th gate of the 8 inner gates, I can't match it. 8 inner gates, as the name suggests, has a total of 8 gates. Next, I will open the gate after the injury gate. Bai Zan, look at the power of the 8 gates. 8 inner gates, the 6th gate, Jing Gate, open. Boom. An explosion sounded inside Might Guy's body. Might Guy's skin turned into a terrifying dark red in an instant. His eyes rolled back, and his expression was a little hideous and terrifying. This is my youth. Bai Zan, look carefully at the power of the 8 inner gates. Might Guy's voice was a little hoarse, but his momentum was extremely amazing. Bai Zan knew. After opening the sixth gate of the 8 inner gates, Might Guy was able to release that move, Peacock. Use high-speed straight punches and air friction to generate flames, and use the shock waves and flames formed by hitting the air to cause continuous attacks on the opponent. It is named because the flames generated by high-speed attacks will form a scene like a peacock spreading its tail in the air. The speed of the punch is supersonic, and a large number of terrifying fireballs the size of a head can be formed in an instant. Even after charging, it can release a large fireball with amazing power, enough to completely evaporate a small lake. The seventh gate of the 8 inner gates is desperate. The 8 inner gates' 8th gate, Death Gate, is to die together. This sixth gate of the 8 inner gates is all the power of Might Guy. Seeing Might Guy's momentum, Naruto couldn't help but widen his eyes, and whispered in disbelief, Teacher Guy's real power is so strong. 8 inner gates forbidden technique. Just listen to the name to know that there are 8 gates in total, and this is the sixth gate of 8 inner gates. It's so terrifying. It's really hard to imagine the terrifying scene after the 8 inner gates are fully opened. And Teacher Guy is just a Jonin. There are quite a few Jonin in Konoha village. Is this the power of ninjas? For a moment, Naruto couldn't help but feel extremely shocked. Then, how powerful is the power of the shadow? At this moment, Naruto seemed to understand what awe is. Might Guy, who entered the sixth gate of 8 inner gates, did not waste time. His body turned into a phantom in an instant and rushed directly to Bai Zan. Swoosh. Just by moving, Might Guy raised a gust of wind, which raised a layer of dust and smoke, and left a deep plow mark on the ground. At such a speed, it is not possible to kill people just by hitting. Not to mention punching. A punch was like a thunder explosion, swift and violent. Teacher Guy, I will also use my full strength. Please see the power of my wind-style suit. Bai Zan replied cautiously. He mobilized the chakra in his body and activated the 2 talents of Storm Body and Storm Power. Storm Mode Wind-style suit. In an instant, the violent and amazing storm broke out directly from Bai Zan's body, sweeping and raging in all directions. Ha! Ha! The gust of wind was like a knife, and tiny cuts appeared on the ground in an instant. The dense cuts appeared, which looked extremely terrifying. If an ordinary person approached, even if Bai Zan did nothing, it would be enough to kill people. And this is Bai Zan's Storm Mode Wind-style suit. Facing Might Guy's fist that seemed to be burning with a dim flame, Bai Zan just clenched his fist tightly, and then stabbed with a straight punch. Storm Spear. The strong storm directly formed a long spear on Bai Zan's fist. The fist was the tip of the spear, and the arm was the spear shaft. It was imposing and sharp and unstoppable. Boom. Fist to fist, a bang suddenly sounded, and the circular air wave directly penetrated and hit in all directions in a circular shape, forming a clearly visible air wave, raging with billowing dust and smoke. Teacher, I'm really happy. Bai Zan, the secret technique you created can actually resist the power of Jingmun, the sixth gate of the 8 inner gates. But this is not all the power of Jingmun. Bai Zan, you have to be careful with the next move. After shouting, Might Guy directly used the terrifying interaction force of this collision to retreat at an extremely terrifying speed, and at the same time jumped 10 meters above the ground. Watching this scene, Bai Zan also knew what this move was. Towards the peacock. A deep voice sounded, and Might Guy's fist turned into an illusion, and flames appeared on the fist illusion. The flames ignited the air and turned into a raging fire, forming a group of hot fireballs as big as a head. And then, the head-sized hot fireballs bombarded Bai Zan like a large piece of flaming meteors. Hundreds of head-sized hot fireballs formed a meteor shower at this moment, crossing the void, gorgeous and dangerous. Facing this move of Might Guy, Bai Zan also took a deep breath, and then made a power-gathering action. He clenched his fist, and the storm came. At the moment when the first batch of hot fireballs were about to fall on Bai Zan punched with all his strength. Wind bird soars. Ah! Accompanied by a sharp bird cry, the extremely violent and terrifying storm suddenly condensed into an abstract but hockey bird-shaped storm on Bai Zan's fist. Bai Zan punched, and the bird grew up against the wind. The storm bird, which was only 20 centimeters in size, abused the wind in its breath, absorbed the airflow, and then directly turned into a huge bird of nearly 30 meters. Then, the bird soared, wreaking havoc on the world. Boom! 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 Densely packed head-sized hot fireballs fell on the storm bird in an instant, causing one small explosion after another. Countless explosions gathered together, forming a massive explosion. The blazing flames mixed with high-temperature heat waves wanted to devour and destroy the storm bird, but it was a little short of that. Under the bombardment of countless blazing fireballs, the storm bird flew towards the Might Guy in the air at an astonishing speed, like a gust of wind. Looking at the approaching storm bird, Might Guy couldn't help but flash a bit of horror in his eyes. He didn't expect that Bison actually had such a move. This wind bird soaring seemed to be 2 points stronger than the peacock, but 3 points weaker than the day tiger. It was indeed a rare and powerful move. Bison could create such a move at this age. It seems. Bison will definitely be able to reach the shadow in the future. In other words, I don't know. Will Bison have the opportunity to touch the level of Shodai and Uchiha Madara, who can suppress the tailed beast? He sighed in his heart, but Might Guy's hands were not slow. Seeing that the small fireball could no longer stop the storm bird, he paused, and then mobilized all the chakra and strength in his body. Then, an explosive attack. The terrifying fireball with a diameter of 10 meters condensed in an instant. Such a terrifying and huge fireball is comparable to a small villa. And because this fireball was blasted out with a fist, its power is much stronger than that of a fireball released using fire-style ninjutsu. It was such a fireball that, after leaving Might Guy's fist, hit Stormbird fiercely. It was at the moment when the giant great fireball came into contact with Stormbird. Time seemed to stop for a second at this moment. And then, boom! The sky and the earth roared, and a terrifying explosion suddenly occurred. The violent flames mixed with the amazing wind swept in all directions, and the billowing smoke and dust spread. However, in an instant, a miniature mushroom cloud slowly rose up. The aftermath rippled, and the terrifying shock wave penetrated in all directions, like layers of air waves raging across the world. The terrifying air waves pressed down, forming a series of hurricanes that ravaged the world. The hurricanes easily broke the earth and rocks, and the earth cracked. A series of plow marks formed in an instant, turning the earth into a mess. Such a scene. It already has some meaning of natural disaster. Its destructive power is definitely comparable to the normal wind-style Rasenshuriken. And in terms of flexibility, release speed, and attack range, Bison's wind bird soaring is even better. That's right. Naruto in the distance couldn't help but fall into a stagnation. And Might Guy, who had just landed, seemed to be in a very bad state, and even a little weak. When the dust settled, although the consumption was great, there was no injury, and Bison, who looked calm and relaxed, appeared in front of Might Guy and Naruto. So, Might Guy and Naruto looked at Bison, and their eyes also changed slightly. Such a demeanor, such an attitude. He is really a child of heaven, and even has the demeanor of a strong man. Might Guy was very pleased and sighed. Naruto's eyes were also full of admiration and respect. Of course. For Naruto, in addition to worship and admiration, there is also a bit of yearning, expectation, perseverance and determination. Uzumaki Naruto's ninja way is never give up. No matter how powerful and talented Bison is, Uzumaki Naruto will not give up chasing Bison's pace. Uzumaki Naruto must become a strong man like Bison and possess this powerful power. Bison, congratulations, you passed the test perfectly this time. Even though he was a little weak, Might Guy's voice was still so imposing. Slowly walking in front of Bison, Might Guy took out a scroll and handed it directly to Bison. This is my teacher's forbidden technique, 8 inner gates. You have just seen the power of 8 inner gates. I think it can help you. Might Guy said, while showing a bright smile. Teacher Guy, I will make good use of this power. Bison also responded to Might Guy with a sincere smile. Seeing Bison's smile, Might Guy was really moved. He didn't know what to say for a moment, and even felt like crying. After a moment of silence, Might Guy just patted Bison's shoulder, and then turned his eyes to Naruto. Then, walked slowly. Seeing Might Guy walking in front of him, Naruto's expression was also serious. Might Guy patted Naruto's shoulder gently, and then said with a smile, Naruto, you are a hard-working boy and my proud disciple. After I finish this mission and return to Konoha village, I will also test you. I hope you practice well and pass my final test. Then, I will also give you the power of the 8 inner gates. Listening to Might Guy's words, Naruto also replied seriously. Yes, Mr. Guy, I will definitely not let you down. I will definitely practice hard and gain powerful power. Seeing Naruto's reaction, Might Guy's smile on his face was also brighter. Let's start today's practice. Burn our youth. Naruto, by Zan. Yes. Yes. Then, today's practice began. Hokage building. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was watching Might Guy, by Zan, and Naruto with a telescope, technique. After a long silence, recalling the battle between Baizan and Might Guy, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but feel relieved and emotional. I was right. Baizan is a genius, an excellent genius who inherited the will of fire. In the future, Baizan will definitely be able to reach Kage level, so as to protect Konoha village and this hard-won peace. Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice became lower and lower. It was night. Baizan in the room was looking through the 8 inner gates formation recorded on the scroll. There are 8 gates in the human body. These 8 gates are the limiters of the human body, the restraints of chakra, and the treasures of the human body. And the 8 inner gates formation is the key to open the 8 gates of the human body, and the key to allow humans to dig out the treasures of the human body. The power of the 8 inner gates is very strong, but the side effects are even greater. The first 7th gate is painful and hurtful, and the last death gate is to burn life. After opening it, it is basically death. But it is only basic. Under the healing of the power of 6 paths, Might Guy who opened the death gate still survived. In fact, in this magical world where even Shinigami can be summoned and even resurrected using forbidden technique, Baizan does not think that the side effects of 8 inner gates formation cannot be weakened or even eliminated. Baizan remembered that there seems to be a villain named Shenong in this world. He is also a forbidden technique master and has developed several powerful forbidden techniques. Medical forbidden technique physical activation can activate one's own body cells and thereby enhance the body's capabilities. Medical forbidden technique physical regeneration, even if the body is torn into pieces, it can be reassembled and revived. Forbidden technique physical transformation, based on physical activation and physical regeneration, plus the dark chakra of Zero Tail, this forbidden technique is completed. This forbidden technique is said to enable the operator to obtain the ultimate body and fully open the 8 inner gates without dying. Of course. Look at its posture and strength after opening the 8 inner gates formation. Baizan knew that the death gate opened by forbidden technique physical transformation was just a weakened version of the death gate. But even so, this is also a good research direction. 8 inner gates plus storm mode wind style suit. Baizan felt that reaching Kage level was not a threshold for him at all. 8 inner gates plus wind style suit, I can almost reach Kage level. If I integrate Red's blazing fox fire, maybe it will be comparable to Senju Hashirama in normal state. If I add Shadow's talent blessing, maybe it will be Senju Hashirama in immortal state. As he said this, Baizan's eyes also gave birth to some yearning and expectation. After a moment of silence, Baizan continued to say, speaking of Shadow, it's almost time for Shadow to evolve for the 3rd time. In the past 2 years, Gale, Red, and Shadow have almost completely mastered their power and talents. I will soon have a summoning beast that has completed 3 evolutions. This is really something to look forward to. I don't know what kind of talent Shadow can get after the 3rd evolution. Indra's blood, the power of Yin Dun. After muttering in a low voice, Baizan also took a deep breath. Then he stood up, took the blood of Indra, called Shadow, and walked into the basement that had been renovated in the past 2 years. Shadow, I know you have been looking forward to it for a long time. Now, it is time for your 3rd evolution. Baizan said to Shadow with a smile. Shadow was also excited, but he bowed his head respectfully and said, Ka. Looking at Shadow in this state, Baizan directly opened Shadow's system attribute page. Summoning Beast. Shadow. Race. Shadow Raven. Talent. Shadow Incarnation. Domination of Shadow. Yin Dun Affinity. Shared Talent. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Indra Blood 100 milliliters. Whether to evolve. Without any hesitation, Baizan made his choice directly, evolve. At the moment when Baizan made his choice, the gray and chaotic evolution light emerged from the void again. The light of evolution flashed in the void, and then poured directly into the glass bottle containing Indra's blood. Then, the blood turned into nothingness in an instant, turning into an invisible wave that could not be seen by ordinary people. Although Baizan could not see it, he could feel it. This is an extremely terrifying power, a powerful energy that originated from the soul and manifested in the spirit. However, between breaths, this energy fell on the shadow in the form of a wave, completely covering the shadow's body. Because of the cover of this great power, the shadow turned uncontrollably into a piece of darkness, a piece of black, a piece of shadow. This piece of shadow appeared, like a small piece of night sky, a small piece without stars and moon, representing the dark night sky, deep and mysterious, quiet and eternal, silent and quiet, vast and vast. As time passed, this piece of night sky slowly began to deform and twist, and the breath of life was slowly gathering. About 9 minutes passed. Just like the shadow in the night sky, it turned into the shape of a crow. And when the crow opened its eyes, the stars and the moon appeared in the eyes, bright and dazzling, mysterious and deep. The evolution of shadow was finally completed. In the next moment, a series of system prompts sounded directly in Baizan's mind. Ding! Closing square bracket. Evolution completed. Opening the Summoning Beast attribute page. Opening. Summoning Beast. Shadow. Race. Phantom Eye Night King Crow. Talent. Yin Dun Origin, Shadow Master, Night King Phantom Eye. Shared Talent. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Truth-Seeking Ball 1. Just after the attribute page popped up, the system prompt sounded. Ding. Closing square bracket. Power, Talent Shared. As soon as this mechanical sound fell, the vast, heavy, deep and ancient energy torrent. It emerged directly from the void and then quickly poured into Baizan's body. Is this the power of the third evolution? It's so powerful, so vast, and so magnificent. Such magnificent chakra has reached the standard of shadow. So shadow has completed the third evolution, which means it has reached cage level. That's great. Baizan felt the surging chakra in his body, and a few sighs flashed in his eyes. Shadow has completed the third evolution, which means shadow has reached cage level. Regardless of the strength of the body, at least chakra feels that it has reached cage level. The chakra in Baizan's body is comparable to that of elite Jonin, and now with this cage level chakra after shadow's evolution. At this time, the chakra in Baizan's body is considered to be relatively large among cage level strongmen. Although it is not as good as the tailed beast, it is enough. After Baizan spent nearly half an hour to adapt to the power and chakra in his body, he breathed a sigh of relief, and then turned his attention to the 3 talents after Shadow's evolution. Yin Dun Mastery is an evolutionary upgrade talent that is compatible with Yin Dun, representing a more powerful telekinesis, and a greater increase in the Yin Dun technique. It is even the original nature of Yin Dun in this world, creating a form from the formless. This is the ability to create matter using chakra. Although the 5 elements Dunju originally used chakra to create flames, earth, water, strong winds, and even thunder. But Yin Dun is different. The form created by Yin Dun is not limited to these elements. And the concept of form represents the shape state in the material body. Baizan, who has mastered this Yin Dun mastery talent, can control the shape of the Dunju more freely. For example, Baizan now wants to release a fire-style Great Fireball technique. Okay. Baizan now releases a Great Fireball. Then using this talent of Yin Dun mastery, Baizan can change the shape of the Great Fireball. Although the flame is still the flame and the temperature is still the temperature, Baizan can make this Great Fireball into other shapes. For example, tiger shape, dragon shape, phoenix shape, sword shape, gun shape, knife shape, and so on. The total amount has not changed, and the temperature has not changed, but the change in shape can also increase some lethality and hit rate. More importantly, it will be very handsome and cool. After a little experience and analysis of the abilities represented by this Yin Dun control talent, Baizan began to feel the talent of Shadow Domination. Shadow Domination is a fusion and upgraded version of the 2 talents of Incarnation Shadow and Shadow Domination. Baizan can still use the Shadow Domination talent to transform into shadow elements and control shadows to fight. And these 2 abilities are significantly enhanced. Using the Shadow Domination talent, Bison can more easily incarnate shadows and control shadows more comfortably. Bison can feel that if he wants, he can really use the shadow domination talent to create a shadow army. The number will not be too many, nor too few. If the two talents of Yin Dun control and shadow domination are the evolution and upgrade of Shadow's original talents. But the last talent, Night King Phantom Eyes, is a powerful talent awakened after evolution. In this world where eyes compete for supremacy and pupil skills are respected, Bison finally got a pair of eyes, and they are also a pair of extremely powerful illusion eyes. After finding a mirror, Bison opened the Night King Phantom Eyes. In the next moment, the world in Bison's eyes suddenly changed. Everything is clearer, and the slightest changes are more obvious. Even vaguely, Bison can feel his own thoughts through himself in the mirror. This is an extremely mysterious feeling, even a bit like micro-expression mind reading. And this is just a basic feature of the Night King Phantom Eyes. This is a pair of illusion eyes. The meaning of illusion is actually very simple. Influence the enemy's five senses, confuse the enemy's five senses, and dominate the enemy's five senses. So this pair of eyes can also be called Kyoku Suigetsu. What a pair of powerful and dazzling eyes. The Night King's phantom eyes really seem to contain the night sky in the eyes, stars, bright moon, black curtain, moonlight, starlight, everything combined together is really beautiful. Bison looked at his eyes in the mirror and murmured in a low voice with emotion, "The ability to control the five senses is really powerful, which makes me think of Aizen's Kyoku Suigetsu. As long as the other party sees my Night King's phantom eyes, I can control the other party's five senses." Speaking of which, I remember in Konoha there is also a Kurama clan in the village, whose bloodline limit is a terrifying and powerful illusion that can control the enemy's five senses. Quote. In addition to this terrifying illusion that controls the five senses, the Kurama clan's bloodline limit can also create an illusion world, and can transform everything that happens in the illusion world into reality. Quote. In other words, the Kurama clan's illusion can distort illusion and reality, and can kill people with illusions. Quote. At the same time, this also represents an ability to make illusions come true. Quote. Similar to the ninjutsu Super Beast false painting, but it is also stronger than the Super Beast false painting, which can transform false things into reality. Quote. Speaking of this, Bison's tone paused slightly, and then continued, although relying solely on the ability of the Night King's phantom eyes, I can only control the enemy's five senses. Quote. But if combined with the ability of Yin Dun to control this talent. Quote. I can also make illusions come true, distort illusions and reality, kill people with illusions, and use this to create things that only exist in illusions. Quote. It's even more than that. After a slight pause, Bison's eyes emitted a faint fluorescence, bright and dazzling, and he whispered to himself, I can feel that Yin Dun represents the power of the spirit. With the illusion eyes of the Night King's phantom eyes, I can even brainwash people and control their minds. Although it's not as scary as distinguished heavenly gods, which can directly invade the other party's brain without being discovered by the other party and directly modify the other party's will. But after spending some effort, I can control the other party's mind and make the other party my puppet. If I can control Danzo, it may be better than killing Danzo, and I can get more benefits. I can even control Danzo and control the root. Then use the power of the root to collect everything I need for me, such as the evolution materials of the new summoning beast. While talking to himself, Bison also lowered his head gently, silently pondering how to control Danzo. Speaking of it, because of my own reasons, Danzo has obtained some Uchiha children. If I control Danzo, won't the Uchiha children become my power? This is really a coincidence. I don't know when the Uchiha genocide will happen this time. Maybe I can control Danzo during this incident. Thinking of this, Bison stopped. I have a good relationship with Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, and Uchiha Shisui also knows my power. If the Uchiha is about to be exterminated, they should notify me. Anyway, Shadow has completed the third evolution and has the innate ability of shadow domination. Shadow that can dominate shadow is really great for monitoring. Even if they don't notify me, I can detect it myself. Anyway. Danzo. I control it. The fourth evolution of Shadow requires a truth-seeking ball. It's impossible for me to collect it in a short time. Thinking of the truth-seeking ball, Baizan's eyebrows could not help but slightly raise. The truth-seeking ball is a powerful substance that is made based on yin-yang escape and adds high-density chakra of all 7 attributes of yin-yang and 5 elements. It contains the power of the universe, which can not only be used for attack, defense, assistance, but also for treatment. Its attack power is so strong that anyone who does not have the power of 6 paths will disappear into nothingness if they touch it. But people with the power of 6 paths can touch it at will. The shape of the truth-seeking ball can also be freely changed, and it can use the various substances inside it, as well as the 7 attributes of yin-yang and 5 elements, to show the ability of the universe. Except for very few abilities such as fairy arts, space, and time, the power of the truth-seeking ball is invincible. It seems that it will take a long time to get the truth-seeking ball. The one who can make the truth-seeking ball the fastest should be Otsutsuki Tonari on the moon. As long as Otsutsuki Tonari obtains a high purity Byakugan, he can use the power of Tenseigin to make the truth-seeking ball. But Otsutsuki Tonari is still too young now. Otherwise, I'd better find a way to make the truth-seeking ball myself. I remember that if I don't become 10 Tails Jinchuriki and don't have 6 paths, I can also make the truth-seeking ball using the bloodline net. And the bloodline net can be formed by the fusion of yin and yang and the 5 elements nature transformation. Although it is difficult for others to condense the bloodline net by this method, it doesn't seem to be a big problem for me. As long as I collect the summoning beasts representing the 7 attributes and let them complete the 3rd evolution, gain control of wind style, fire style, etc., I can make the truth-seeking ball by myself. I can make the truth-seeking ball by myself. I can make the truth-seeking ball by myself. I can make the truth style control. Yin escape control, and yang escape control these 7 talents. Quote. When the time comes, using these 7 talents, I have a great chance of condensing into a bloodline net. Maybe this method is even faster. Thinking like this, Baizan nodded gently. After a moment of silence, Baizan continued to murmur, Gale represents wind, red represents fire, and shadow represents yin. Shadow has already completed the 3rd evolution, let's not talk about it for now. It will take some time to collect the 1-tail Shukaku chakra required for the 3rd evolution of Gale and the 9 tails Kurama chakra required for the 3rd evolution of Red. So now I should also consider my 4th summoning beast. Thunder, Earth, Water, Yang, Fairy Art, Space, Time. Which one should I recover? After a moment of contemplation, Baizan murmured in a low voice, let's see when the time comes. It's getting late today, and it's time to go to bed. Just like that, Baizan also left the basement with Shadow, who was respectful and loyal like a taciturn and loyal bodyguard. After washing up, Baizan fell asleep. The next day. Good morning, Baizan. Naruto greeted Baizan with Jinwan. Woof. Following his master, the 1-meter-long Jinwan barked at Baizan. Oni-chan, good morning. Tiantian still showed a sweet smile. Morning. Baizan also greeted with a smile. Teacher Guy left yesterday without notifying me. I don't know what Teacher Guy was thinking. After greeting, Tiantian complained directly. Listening to Tiantian's words, Baizan smiled and explained, Teacher Guy is not a person who likes to be sad about parting. You had an exam yesterday, so I didn't bother you. Anyway, with Teacher Guy's ability, he could finish an A-level mission quickly and come back. Baizan is right, there is no need to talk about this topic. Baizan and I are going to school soon. I really want to know what it is like to go to school, take classes, and take exams. Naruto on the side looked at Tiantian expectantly. Looking at Naruto's posture, you can tell that Naruto is particularly looking forward to going to school. But it's normal, after all, Naruto is a person who likes to make friends. Looking at Naruto's appearance, Tiantian thought about it and said with some uncertainty, School, exams, I don't think there is anything special. When I went to the first class, I felt fresh and excited, but after many times, it was just like that, just learning knowledge. As for exams, they are actually similar to competitions. I want to compete with my classmates and want to get a better ranking. In addition to these, it's almost the same as what Teacher Guy said, I can make more friends and gain some partners. There are happy places and troublesome places. Tiantian finally concluded. Listening to Tiantian's description, Naruto's eyes lit up. It sounds like it's pretty good. With my current strength, although I can't beat Baisan, I must be better than others. By then, Baisan will be the first in the school, and I will be the second in the school, ha 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 ha, I will definitely be popular. Naruto couldn't help laughing. And seeing Naruto's attitude, Baisan suddenly didn't tell Naruto that the exam is not only about strength, but also about culture. Although Naruto has changed a lot because of Baisan and gained good strength. But some things are not something Baisan can change. For example, nature. Naruto really gets a headache when he sees a book, and he is also very thick-skinned, and often doesn't pay attention to some small problems. Such a nature means that Naruto is not suitable for cultural exams. But it doesn't matter. With Naruto's current strength, at least he can get more points in the practical exam, and he will definitely not be the last one. After laughing, Naruto suddenly turned his eyes to Baisan again, and after a slight pause, he continued, I have already talked to the third-generation grandfather last time. The third-generation grandfather said that he would assign the two of us to the same class. Ha 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 ha, Baisan, then we can go to school together, take classes in the same classroom, and go home together. I feel so looking forward to that kind of life. Yeah, I am looking forward to it too. Baisan replied with a smile. Tiantian, who was standing aside, looked at Naruto's happy look, and after a slight pause, he turned his eyes to Baisan and said with a bit of coquettishness, Oni-chan, I also want to go to school and go home with you. Looking at Tiantian's attitude, the smile on Baisan's face became softer, of course. After speaking, Baisan paused slightly, and then changed his tone. Okay, it's almost time, let's start today's practice. Yes. Yes. Today's practice has begun. So. Time slowly passed. Before we knew it, it was the start of the school year at the ninja school. When Baisan and Naruto arrived at the entrance of the ninja school, they saw a large crowd of people. Civilians, ninjas, students, parents, and teachers. Yumino Iruka, Mizuki, and some minor teachers were busy entertaining students and parents, arranging them to enter their classes and classrooms. When Yumino Iruka saw Baisan and Naruto, his eyes could not help but stay on the six paths beard on Naruto's face. His eyes narrowed, and after a slight distraction, he quickly reacted. Seeing the excitement and respect in Naruto's eyes, Yumino Iruka could not help but feel extremely complicated emotions in his heart. After showing a somewhat forced smile, he spoke in his usual gentle tone, My name is Yumino Iruka, you can call me Teacher Iruka. Baisan and Naruto, right. Your classroom is at the end of the left, hurry over. Yes, teacher. Baisan said calmly. Yes, teacher. Naruto's voice was still very excited. Baisan, let's go quickly, I can't wait to see what my classroom looks like. As he said this, Naruto couldn't help but speed up his pace. Seeing Naruto so excited, Baisan smiled knowingly and followed him slowly. Naruto's posture really attracted the attention of many people. Yumino Iruka's eyes were still complicated, and the eyes of the civilians were still full of strong disgust and hatred. As for the eyes of the ninjas, they were also full of deep meaning. Soon, Naruto and Baisan walked into the classroom. As soon as Baisan and Naruto walked into the classroom, a lot of eyes were cast over them. Curious, indifferent, disgusted, excited, happy, expectant, all different. While they were looking at Baisan and Naruto, Baisan's eyes also swept across the entire classroom. Hinata, Sasuke, Ino, Little Sakura, Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, Shino, and many unfamiliar faces. The moment Sasuke saw Baisan, his eyes narrowed directly. He remembered Baisan, the person who was highly valued by his Oni-chan, the person he was very dissatisfied with. The person he wanted to defeat, to prove that he was better than him, so that Oni-chan would value him, the opponent. After Hinata saw Baisan and Naruto, she couldn't help but have some joy in her eyes. It's great that she can be in the same class with Baisan and Naruto. Hinata missed the last picnic very much, but his father forced him to practice after knowing his real appetite. Although he could eat his fill every day, he also lost his freedom and could not go out. Just looking at Baisan quietly, recalling the scene of the picnic, Hinata's smile became brighter and brighter. In addition to Hinata, Some girls including Ino and Sakura couldn't help but look at Baizan and were deeply attracted. As for the reason, it's because of Baizan's handsomeness. After sharing power and talent with the summoning beasts, Baizan not only became stronger and stronger, but also became more and more perfect. The essence of evolution is to become stronger and more perfect. And every evolution of the summoning beast is equivalent to Baizan's optimization. Baizan's appearance is already very outstanding, plus the 2 optimizations of the wind, the 2 optimizations of the red clothes, and the 3 optimizations of the shadow. A total of 7 optimizations were added to Baizan, and Baizan's appearance can only be described as perfect. The calm demeanor is just like a perfect immortal who walked out of the painting, extraordinary and extraordinary. So handsome. 100 times more handsome than the young master of the Uchiha family. Wow, I'm so lucky to be in the same class with such a handsome guy. I really want to know his name. How can such a perfect person exist in this world? No, I'm going to faint. For a while, almost all the girls in the class were crazy about him, and their attitude at this time was even more exaggerated than when they saw Uchiha Sasuke. Really? Expected precocity. When Baizan's eyes swept across the classroom, he finally stopped at Hinata's position. And then, smiled slightly. Just after Baizan showed this smile. Sure enough, Baizan still remembers me, Baizan has not forgotten me. This is so great. Hinata sighed sincerely in her heart. As for the other girls, this smile is so warm. So handsome. No, I'm really going to fall for it. If I see such a smile every day, I will be so happy. This white-eyed guy actually knows this handsome guy. I'm so envious. If this smile belongs to me, how great it would be. These changes. It was also expected. After smiling at Hinata, Baizan walked towards Hinata and shouted to Naruto on the side. Naruto, this way. Hearing Baizan's words, Naruto, who was excitedly looking around, quickly followed behind Baizan, and looked in the direction of Baizan and saw Hinata. After a smile appeared on his face, Naruto said directly, Baizan, isn't that Hinata who we used to have a picnic with? Yes, we are also friends. Since we are friends and we are in the same class, let's go and say hello. Baizan replied to Naruto naturally. That's right. Naruto nodded gently. Then, Baizan sat on Hinata's left. And Naruto sat on Baizan's left. Yeah. From the position. Naruto was on Baizan's left, and Hinata was on Baizan's right. That's it. Hinata, what a coincidence, we are actually assigned to the same class. Baizan's smile was very sunny, and Baizan's voice was very gentle. Looking at Baizan's smile and listening to Baizan's voice, Hinata still replied with a little nervousness. Yes, it's really a coincidence, Baizan. Don't be so nervous, we are friends, aren't we? Baizan comforted gently. Yeah. Hinata replied Baizan with a smile. Seeing Hinata's posture become more natural, Baizan also chatted with Hinata casually. So, about 10 minutes passed. The students in the classroom had just arrived. And Yumino Uruka walked directly to the podium after the students arrived. When Yumino Uruka stood on the podium and looked at the students below, the students' voices quickly lowered until they were completely quiet. Seeing that the students were still quite honest, Uruka nodded gently and then began to introduce himself. My name is Yumino Uruka. From today on, I am your teacher. You can call me Teacher Uruka. Today is the first day of school. From today on, everyone is a member of the ninja school. In the next 6 years, everyone will be classmates in the same class. In order for everyone to get along well, let's introduce ourselves first. At this point, Uruka's eyes were cast on a girl in the first row and first column. Let's start with you. Uruka's smile was very gentle, with a little encouragement in his eyes. After hesitating for a moment, the girl stood up with a little nervousness. My name is Misaka Matsuko, and I like cooking. With the first girl's introduction. The rest of the self-introductions went much more smoothly. My name is Inazuka Kiba, I like to walk with Akamaru, I want to be a ninja that everyone looks up to. My name is Uchiha Sasuke, I like to practice, walk, and my dream is to become a powerful ninja and get the recognition of my brother and father. Sasuke looked at Baizan with a proud look, and there seemed to be a bit of provocation. If there was no Baizan's words, maybe some girls would shout loudly. Unfortunately. With Baizan, the girl's eyes were all focused on Baizan. With the self-introductions of several extras, finally one person's self-introduction caught Baizan's attention. My name is Aburame Shino. I like vegetable salad, winter melon, and observing insects. Aburame Shino said in a low-key manner. The word, insect, made Baizan's heart move slightly, and then he looked at Aburame Shino with a bit of deep meaning. Although Aburame Shino is low-key, his strength is not bad. And Aburame Shino also has the talent to cultivate insects. The Aburame clan is a famous insect-controlling clan in Konoha. The clan members feed insects with their own chakra, let the insects parasitize their bodies, and drive the insects. Relying on insects, the Aburame clan has developed many insect secrets. And in order to fundamentally improve the power of insect secrets, the Aburame clan will also cultivate insects. Using chakra, a special energy, to feed insects, plus many special methods, insects can be upgraded. Baizan remembered that there was a ninja named Aburame Takegan in the Aburame clan, who cultivated a nano-scale poisonous insect. The three words, nano-scale, were enough to illustrate the power of the Aburame clan. And if Aburame Takegan cultivates insects with a small character, then the insects cultivated by Aburame Shino are big. In the future, Aburame Shino will cultivate a giant insect that is as big as a house, can fly, and is a bit like a fusion of spiders, beetles, longhorn beetles and other insects. You know, insects are not like lions, tigers, pythons, and elephants. Because of their body structure, insects have really strong talents. For example, the strength of ants, the jumping power of fleas, the life of cockroaches, and so on. If they are of the same size, without chakra, Baizan feels that an ant can be as big as 10 tigers, or even more. What's more, the insects cultivated by Aburame Shino are as big as houses. Baizan doesn't believe that such insects are not strong in combat. Now his speed is fast enough, but his strength and defense are still a little insufficient. The power of ants is very strong. As for defense, there seem to be many insects with strong defense. So Baizan is thinking about getting excellent insects from Aburame Shino, or even letting Aburame Shino cultivate insects for him. Yeah, Aburame Shino is very low-key, easily ignored, and very taciturn, but he is not a bad person. Most humans need friends and need to communicate. Aburame Shino should also need it. After becoming friends, it shouldn't be too much to help a friend. Besides, Baizan can also provide some help for Aburame Shino to cultivate insects. For example, provide some special substances as inducing factors to upgrade insects, such as some concepts of raising insects, and so on. It's just to build a good relationship with Aburame Shino. Baizan doesn't think it's difficult. During the time Baizan was thinking, it was Baizan's turn to introduce himself. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like picnics and pressed flowers. Hyuga Hinata seemed to be more natural because Baizan was sitting next to her. Not as nervous as before, nor as timid as before. So, when Hyuga Hinata sat down, it was Baizan's turn. My name is Baizan, I like to become stronger. Baizan's words were short, natural and generous. So it's Baizan. Baizan, what a nice name. Baizan is so handsome. As expected, many girls sighed softly. Even if they didn't make a sound, looking at the way these girls looked at Baizan, they knew they were also crazy. This may be the tradition of the Hokage world. Most girls mature early and are love-brained. Looking at the reactions of these girls, some boys looked at Baizan with a little more unkindness. Pretty boy. What's the use of being good-looking? His power must not be as strong as mine. Maybe he's just a straw bag. It seems normal for children to be jealous. This is not the first time Yumino Iruka has taught students, and he didn't look surprised at this reaction. But Iruka's eyes looking at Baizan are still a little strange. The reason is not only Baizan's appearance. And Naruto beside Baizan. Iruka actually knew Baizan's parents, and knew that they died because of 9 tails, just like his own parents. But, Baizan and Naruto. Why? Iruka was still a little confused now. But before they could think too much, Baizan sat down directly after the introduction. After Baizan sat down, Naruto should stand up. Bang! Naruto patted the wooden table excitedly, and then shouted loudly, My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like to practice and become stronger. I will definitely become a powerful ninja and let everyone recognize me. This time, Naruto's self-introduction changed a little. But Naruto's posture is still so flamboyant. It must be said that Naruto's posture almost instantly attracted the attention of all the students in the classroom. Everyone's expression was very complicated. But after Naruto introduced himself, he sat down directly with satisfaction. Then, self-introduction continued. My name is Nara Shikamaru. I like playing shogi. My name is Yamanaka Ino. I like flower arrangement. One after another, familiar or unfamiliar faces appeared in front of Baizan, making Baizan feel emotional. Speaking of which, Baizan actually missed his time in the ninja school. Pure and beautiful. Soon after all the students introduced themselves, Uruka said, "Okay, since everyone has introduced themselves, then everyone knows each other. Now, let's start the class. The first class of the ninja school is naturally some basics, even the basics of chakra. Not to mention the children of the ninja clan, even most of the children of the common people know it. After all, the children of the common ninja. Aren't they also children of the common people?" Although a little bored, Baizan still listened quietly. There is nothing wrong with reviewing the old to learn the new. Time passed slowly. Soon, the get out of class was over. As soon as the get out of class was over, Baizan was about to say hello to Aburame Shino. But, Baizan, can we make friends? Baizan, what do you like to eat? Baizan, can we go play together after school? Baizan, it's my birthday tomorrow, can you come over to play? Almost all of these little girls came to Baizan and surrounded her. Looking at this scene, Baizan was silent. Naruto, who was beside Baizan, couldn't help but show an envious expression. As for the other boys in the class, they also had different expressions, some envious, some jealous, some unconvinced, some wanting to make trouble for Baizan. And Hinata seemed to be a little afraid of the way these girls looked at her, so she just kept silent and looked at Baizan with some worry. After a moment of silence, Baizan smiled and suggested to the group of girls, can you come one by one? The sun has set. It's time to go home from school. When Baizan, Naruto, Hinata, and others went to wait for Tiantian together. After seeing Baizan, the seniors, were in a turmoil again. This made Baizan sigh. School is indeed a place of right and wrong. Most girls are born 8 trigrams. In this world where the entertainment industry is not well developed, these girls need a star. Maybe so. This world, this era, this Konoha, this school's atmosphere is like this, and Baizan doesn't want to change anything. However, Baizan believes that with his own means, it won't take long for these little girls to stop disturbing his life. As long as it doesn't disturb his life, Baizan feels that there is nothing wrong with being popular. It was under such circumstances. Time passed slowly. In the middle, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave a speech about the will of fire to the freshmen such as Baizan. The content was very monotonous. It was just to promote those glorious contents. But for the children and even adults in this world, it was full of exaggeration and brainwashing ability was very strong. Of course, although Baizan felt a little ridiculous in his heart, he also acted excited and wanted to sacrifice his life for Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was giving a speech on the podium, was also very pleased after noticing Baizan's appearance. Sure enough, he was worthy of being the child he valued. This was the successor of the Will of Fire and the future guardian of Konoha. His vision was indeed correct. Then, the speech was over. The students returned to their normal college life. However, the number of children who wanted to become Hokage increased significantly. It must be said, there are still quite a few children living in Konoha who want to become Hokage. As for the reason, it should be the Will of Fire. However, for Baizan, these are all trivial matters. As for what is Baizan's big thing? Naturally, it is to recover a new summoning beast. Baizan has already decided on this 4th summoning beast. Just recover an insect. As for what kind of insect to recover, it depends on what Aburame Shino has collected and cultivated. Before that, Baizan wants to build a good relationship with Aburame Shino. Today, Baizan finally found an opportunity to talk to Aburame Shino. At this time, Aburame Shino was under a big tree, observing a group of ants on the ground. Slightly increase the strength to make his footsteps louder, so that Aburame Shino noticed his approach. Baizan walked directly to Aburame Shino's side, and then said slowly and softly, I have also observed ants. Ants are really interesting. I have marveled at the magic of the creator more than once. He can actually create insects like ants. It must be said that Baizan's words directly attracted Aburame Shino's attention. Ants are not only natural building experts, but also fierce predators. They even raise livestock, just like humans raise cattle and sheep, raising aphids. Ants not only fight, build roads, and use tools, but also use formic acid to disturb and confuse enemies, so as to capture these enemies and train them into slaves. When Baizan said this, Aburame Shino had already shifted his gaze from the ants on the ground to Baizan. Aburame Shino really didn't expect that Baizan had actually observed ants and even observed so many characteristics of ants. This really made Aburame Shino curious and resonate. Because Aburame Shino likes to observe insects, in the eyes of many people, he is a freak. Even if they don't think Aburame Shino is a freak, there are still many people who think Aburame Shino is a boring person. Because the hobby of observing insects is indeed easy to make people prejudiced. And today, Baizan suddenly said that ants are very interesting. And he also gave many reasons. This made Aburame Shino feel a little bit like he had met a confidant. Just as Aburame Shino was thinking this, Baizan continued to speak slowly. Even many ants have the ability to grow mushrooms. They not only fertilize and harvest, but also know how to use the heat generated by the fermentation of leaves to maintain the temperature and humidity of crops. Even when they have no harvest, they will borrow food from neighbors. All of this always makes me marvel at the magic of ants. Speaking of this, Baizan cast his eyes on Aburame Shino and smiled sincerely. What do you think? Shino-san. What you said makes sense, I think so too. Aburame Shino was slightly stunned, and then he replied directly. When I heard that you, Shino, said that you like to observe insects in your self-introduction, I wanted to chat with you. Baizan's tone was still very natural. And listening to Baizan's words, Aburame Shino's expression also returned to a calm and silent look. I know that you, Shino, are an insect master of the Aburame clan. Speaking of which, I also want to raise an insect as a summoning beast, so can Shino help me? Baizan's attitude was very frank, and he openly stated his purpose. It was precisely because of Baizan's frank attitude that Aburame Shino actually developed some good feelings for Baizan. After a moment of hesitation, Aburame Shino said directly, Baizan, it's nothing for you to raise an insect as a summoning beast. But I can tell you something. Insects are generally small in size and don't have much fighting power. If you want to gain strong fighting power, you must win by numbers. And there are so many insects that it is impossible to control a group of insects to fight without special secret techniques. And these secret techniques are the treasures of the Aburame family and will never be passed on to outsiders. Aburame Shino said matter-of-factly. I know all this. I just want to raise an insect as a summoning beast, not a group of insects. As for the small size of a single insect, it doesn't have a strong fighting force. I think this problem can be solved. Just like that, Baizan showed a sincere smile to Aburame Shino. Shino classmate, I know that the Aburame clan has the secret technique of cultivating insects, and even Shino classmate you are already cultivating insects. I think you can successfully cultivate giant insects. Moreover, I think I can provide you with some help in cultivating insects. For example, funds, materials, venues, and even the knowledge about insects that I have. Well, I'm pretty rich. Even if you can't make up your mind, Shino classmate, I'm willing to visit your parents. Listening to Baizan's words, Aburame Shino fell silent again. He is indeed cultivating some insects. He even cultivated some upgraded insects. But speaking of it, even if the Aburame clan is a famous ninja clan in Konoha. But raising insects and breeding insects is really expensive. The Aburame family is not suitable for doing business because of their taciturn character. That's why. The Aburame family is not rich. And Aburame Shino naturally does not have enough funds to breed insects. Let alone the issue of money, Aburame Shino just heard Baizan's explanation about ants. Aburame Shino thinks that Baizan should know a lot about insects. With Baizan's help, he should be able to breed giant insects. If he really breeds giant insects, that would be great. What's more, Baizan is willing to visit my parents first. In this way, there should be no problem. Thinking about it, Aburame Shino was moved. So after a slight pause, Aburame Shino nodded to Baizan. Okay, I agree. Then I'll bother you after school today. Baizan smiled. It's okay. Aburame Shino's voice was very calm. After school, Baizan and Aburame Shino went to visit Aburame Shino's father. Then, this matter was decided. After all, Baizan paid a lot of money. It is precisely because of this. Aburame Shino's father Aburame Jawei said that he was not only willing to help, but also willing to find someone to help. Because Baizan gave a lot of money. Then, with money paving the way, a large insect breeding base was established. All kinds of strange materials, plants, blood and flesh ores, soil, and so on, were also prepared. Although Aburame Shino is very important, he is just a trigger. After all, Aburame Shino is too young now. But talent is talent, and talent is talent. Aburame Shino can still play a role. With the help of Aburame Shino's parents, the giant insect breeding project is slowly getting on the right track. Since the project has been launched, Baizan only needs to wait for the results. 1 month later, Ninja School Playground. Uruka stood in front of the students, smiled and said to them, everyone has been in class for a month. Ninjas not only need to master a lot of knowledge, but also have strong practical ability. Today, we will hold a practical exercise to witness everyone's practical ability. Listening to Uruka's words, the students couldn't help but get excited. That's great, we're finally going to test the practical. From an unknown extra. This time I must call Baizan that pretty boy hard, let those girls see how handsome I am. From the arrogant Inazuka Kiba. Those cultural courses are really annoying, it's better to have a practical exercise, which can show my strength. This time I must make a splash. From Naruto who hates cultural courses. Baizan, this time I must prove that I'm stronger than you, and let Oni-chan face myself. From Uchiha Sasuke who is obsessed with his brother. Okay, everyone be quiet, the test will start soon. Uruka took out the roster and pen. Looking at the many names on the roster, Uruka reported the list of the first group of practical exercises that he had already considered without any hesitation. Group 1, Baizan, Uchiha Sasuke. That's great. Uchiha Sasuke stared at Baizan, with a strong sense of surprise and fighting spirit in his eyes. Although he was not convinced by Baizan, he also believed in the vision of his brother Uchiha Itachi. Since his brother Uchiha Itachi looked high at Baizan, Baizan would definitely not be a weakling. And he Uchiha Sasuke also thought that he was not a weakling. So, go all out and get rid of Baizan beautifully. This is what Uchiha Sasuke thought. As for the others, after hearing the first group's battle list, they couldn't help but reveal some expectations in their eyes. The girls looked forward to Baizan's strength. Although Uchiha Sasuke was not as good as Baizan, he was also more handsome than other boys in the class. So some girls also cast their eyes on Uchiha Sasuke. As for the boys, they were jealous of Baizan's handsomeness. Of course, some people were jealous of Uchiha Sasuke. But anyway, they wanted to see the power of Baizan and Uchiha Sasuke. If the power of these two people is not strong, then they are naturally happy. No matter what the expressions of the crowd are. Uchiha Sasuke only has Baizan in his eyes. As for Baizan, he is calm and composed, still with that calm and indifferent demeanor. Baizan, Uchiha Sasuke, you two should make the seal of opposition first. Uruka said to Baizan and Uchiha Sasuke. Baizan did not want to show how special it was, so he made the seal of opposition to Uchiha Sasuke slowly. And Uchiha Sasuke also quickly returned the seal of opposition to Baizan. As soon as the seal of opposition was made, Uchiha Sasuke's expression suddenly became serious. The next moment, Uchiha Sasuke disappeared from the spot. This speed. It is really fast in the eyes of ordinary people. Wow, this Uchiha Sasuke is so fast. He's really strong. Indeed, it seems Baizan is going to be unlucky. The boys said so. Who said that? Didn't you see Baizan's reaction? He didn't look shocked or scared at all. Baizan must be better than Sasuke. That's right, Baizan is so handsome, he must be better than Sasuke. This is the girl's rebuttal. As for Iruka, looking at the speed of Uchiha Sasuke and Baizan's posture, he couldn't help but show some expectations in his eyes. Baizan and Sasuke should be the two best students of this class. I don't know if Baizan, a genius among the common people, can compare with Sasuke, a genius of the Uchiha clan. Iruka thought to himself. And then, in the next moment, everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes. Because just when Uchiha Sasuke rushed in front of Baizan and was about to use a beautiful Uchiha fluid kick to knock Baizan down, Baizan raised his foot at a faster speed and kicked out. This was not a trick. It was just an ordinary kick. But Uchiha Sasuke retreated violently in an instant. Bang! The huge force was transmitted, and this terrifying force almost made Uchiha Sasuke's eyes reveal an extremely strong disbelief. Baizan, how could he be so strong? He and I are the same age, how could he be so much stronger than me? Am I not a genius? Am I not a genius? If I am a genius, then what is Baizan? Puff! Uchiha Sasuke retreated 3 meters and fell to the ground. This move. Baizan has a very good control of the strength. Just kicking Uchiha Sasuke to the ground did not hurt Uchiha Sasuke. After all, Uchiha Itachi called himself Baizan Jun. So Baizan and Uchiha Itachi are of the same generation. In this case, Uchiha Itachi's younger brother is Baizan's younger brother. For Uchiha Sasuke, who is of the same generation, Baizan will naturally not use too much force. When Uchiha Sasuke fell to the ground, everyone present was stunned, and then showed an extremely shocked and unbelievable look. Are you kidding? Aren't we of the same generation? How could this Baizan's strength surpass ours by so much? Uchiha Sasuke, who is so fast, was defeated in an instant. This Baizan is too strong. Most boys were shocked. Baizan is indeed the strongest genius. He is so handsome and so strong. He is so perfect. I have really fallen for him. I want to be Baizan's girlfriend. This is the reaction of most girls. As for Iruka, at this speed, he is already enough to graduate. Baizan is only 6 years old, and his talent is too strong. Is he another 4th generation? Or is Baizan's talent stronger than the 4th generation? Iruka was more shocked than the students. But soon, Uchiha Sasuke got up, looked at Baizan seriously, and then said directly, Baizan, wait, I will definitely work hard to practice, and then surpass you, just wait. Uchiha Sasuke's tone was very decisive, full of decisiveness and perseverance. This is also a rare advantage of Uchiha Sasuke. It was Uchiha Sasuke's words that finally woke Iruka up. After a slight pause, Iruka announced, the winner is Baizan. Both parties make a seal of reconciliation. I'll wait. Baizan smiled and made a seal of reconciliation. Okay. Uchiha Sasuke quickly made a seal of reconciliation, looked at Baizan deeply, and replied at the same time. The next group, Uzumaki Naruto, Inuzuka Kiba. Ha 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 ha, Baizan, it's finally my turn, I want to let them see how powerful I, Uzumaki Naruto, am. After hearing his name, Uzumaki Naruto excitedly said to Baizan. You are so powerful. Inuzuka Kiba, who was standing by, looked at Uzumaki Naruto's reaction and mocked him directly. Seeing Inuzuka Kiba's contempt for him, Uzumaki Naruto wanted to refute immediately, but Baizan stopped him, speak with strength and refute with facts. In his previous life and in the past 2 years, Baizan already knew Uzumaki Naruto's persuasion very well. Yeah, he can say a lot of nonsense, but because Uzumaki Naruto's tone is really contagious, it is easy to convince people. To be honest, what Uzumaki Naruto said, in fact, it is not as good as a junior high school composition. In order to save time, Baizan is slowly correcting this problem of Uzumaki Naruto. Baizan thinks it would be good to cultivate a Uzumaki Naruto who can't persuasion. Yeah, he will never talk too much when he can get his hands on it. Listening to Baizan's words, Uzumaki Naruto also nodded to Baizan, and then replied with a smile, yes, I will use facts to shut them all up. Uzumaki Naruto, Inuzuka Kiba, make a seal of reconciliation. Uruka said. Then, Uzumaki Naruto and Inuzuka Kiba walked to the middle of the venue and quickly made a seal of reconciliation. The next moment after the seal of reconciliation was completed. After 2 years of physical training, Uzumaki Naruto skillfully made a starting posture of Konoha fluid technique. Then, just when Inuzuka Kiba just made the starting posture of Inuzuka fluid technique, Uzumaki Naruto's voice has been heard. Leaf Great Whirlwind. Huh. The whirlwind was lifted, and the dust and smoke flew. But in a breath, Uzumaki Naruto showed his amazing speed and momentum. Anyway, Uzumaki Naruto is now comparable to a taijutsu chunin. Such speed, momentum, and strength are not something that these students can match. Even Uruka. After seeing Uzumaki Naruto's true strength, he couldn't help but be shocked. He didn't expect Uzumaki Naruto actually has such power. Is it because of Baisan? He and Baisan seemed to be friends before school, and they often practiced together. Maybe except Baisan. The strongest student of this class is Uzumaki Naruto. However, Uruka was not the one who reacted the most after seeing Uzumaki Naruto's strength. The one who reacted the most. In fact, it was Uchiha Sasuke. With his fists clenched tightly and his brows tightly locked, Uchiha Sasuke couldn't help but roar in his heart. How is this possible? Baisan is fine, but what about this idiot Uzumaki Naruto? Uzumaki Naruto, how can he have such strength? Such strength is stronger than mine. Am I really a genius? This is really a joke. No matter how unwilling Uchiha Sasuke was, Uzumaki Naruto had already arrived in front of Inuzuka Kiba, who was full of disbelief. Then, the calf wrapped with a whirlwind had already landed on Inuzuka Kiba. Bang! A dull collision sounded, and Inuzuka Kiba suddenly retreated 3 steps, and then lost his balance and fell to the ground. So, others also reacted. You are kidding. Even Uzumaki Naruto has such strength. It's unbelievable. We are all the same age, Baisan is fine, but how can Uzumaki Naruto be so strong? Although the boys' reactions were a bit exaggerated, they were also normal. After all, seeing that 1 or 2 of his classmates are stronger than him, and so much stronger, it is normal to react violently. However, the girls' reactions. Wow, he is worthy of being Baisan's follower. Uzumaki Naruto is really strong. That's right, I heard that Uzumaki Naruto often practiced with Baisan before entering school. It is natural for him to have such strength. Ah, Baisan is so perfect that even such a strong Uzumaki Naruto is his follower. Yeah, this is also expected. After all, it is the tradition of Konoha village. See, this is my strength, Uzumaki Naruto. Baisan is the first, and I am the second, ha 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 ha. Uzumaki Naruto laughed. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto so arrogant, Inuzuka Kiba fell into silence. After standing up silently, he said directly, Uzumaki Naruto, I will definitely work hard to practice, and then defeat you openly in front of you. Seeing that Inuzuka Kiba actually took himself as a target, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help but feel a little bit of fresh joy in his heart. Okay, I'll wait for you. At this time, Uruka also looked at Uzumaki Naruto with a complicated look, and then said in a serious voice, Uzumaki Naruto, Inuzuka Kiba, make a seal of reconciliation. Uzumaki Naruto and Inuzuka Kiba, who were facing each other, made a seal of reconciliation and left the center of the venue directly. Uzumaki Naruto, who won the victory, ran to Baisan excitedly and said with joy on his face, Baisan, look at how powerful I was just now. I told you that the first place in the school is you, Baisan, and the second place in the school must be me, Uzumaki Naruto, ha 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 ha. Looking at Uzumaki Naruto like this, Baisan also smiled and said, Naruto, look at the others, I believe they will go back to practice hard after seeing your strength. If you relax, they may catch up with you. Hearing Baisan's words, Uzumaki Naruto was also shocked. Indeed, Baisan was right. Then, Uzumaki Naruto's face straightened, and then he replied seriously, don't worry, I will practice harder than them, and I will never carry anything with me. Just as Baisan was talking to Uzumaki Naruto, Uruka also reported the list of the next group to fight. The third group, Hyuga Hinata, Yamanaka Ino. Listening to Uruka's voice, Baizan couldn't help but cast his eyes on the gentle and quiet Hyuga Hinata beside him. It has been a month since the start of school. Baizan has been a classmate of Hyuga Hinata for a month and has chatted with her for a long time. In addition, Hinata already admired, trusted, and even had a good impression of Baizan, so Hinata had almost no secrets from Baizan. It was precisely because of this. Baizan knew that 2 years later, Hinata returned home. Hinata listened to Baizan's advice, mustered up some courage, and talked to her father Hyuga Hiyashi for a while. It was because of this conversation that Hyuga Hiyashi knew Hinata's true appetite. So, Hinata was able to eat a full meal at every meal. In a certain sense, appetite equals energy, and energy equals strength. Hinata, who was able to eat and drink a full meal at every meal, grew very fast in strength. Chakra amount, body quality, Byakugan development, and the progress of gentle fist control. Gentle fist is a physical skill that relies on Byakugan to exert powerful power. Hinata's Byakugan ability has been improved, so the power of gentle fist will naturally not be too weak. Even if Hinata is too kind and can't use all her strength and be ruthless to the target. But once the power difference is too large, even just a light tap will cause greater damage. So, Baizan suddenly looked forward to Hinata's performance today. Come on, Hinata. Baizan showed Hinata a very gentle smile. Looking at the smile on Baizan's face and listening to Baizan's encouragement, Hinata also lowered his head slightly, and then replied to Baizan with a smile. Well, I will try my best, Baizan. Then, Hinata walked to the center of the venue. Yamanaka Ino on the side looked at Hinata with a little envy and jealousy in his eyes. However, Yamanaka Ino is also kind, but he will not say such excessive words. Uruka said, Hyuga Hinata, Yamanaka Ino, seal of opposition. Hinata and Ino nodded, and then quickly formed the seal of opposition. So, the battle began. To be honest, almost every ninja clan has a set of physical skills that can be used in conjunction with the clan's secret techniques or bloodline limits. This also includes the Yamanaka clan of pigs, in Ino Shika-cho. As for the Hyuga clan, it goes without saying. In the next moment, Hinata and Ino almost rushed towards each other at the same time. This movement. The gap was immediately revealed. Hinata's speed was obviously much faster than Ino. In the moment when the two approached, Hinata quickly pointed out the sword finger. At this point, Ino's body stopped in place. It was not painful, but the body was numb. After a point, Hinata slowly stepped back 2 steps. And Ino also slowly recovered during this time. I lost. Is this the gentle fist of the Hyuga clan? It's really strong. Ino couldn't help but smile bitterly. Watching this scene and listening to Ino's words, the students on the side couldn't help but discuss. As for shock, their shock was all taken away by Baizan and Uzumaki Naruto. Although Hinata is also very strong. That's it. It's worth discussing, but not worth being shocked. Hyuga Hinata is worthy of being a member of the Hyuga clan. Even if he looks timid, his strength is not weak at all. Yes, it seems that he is about the same strength as Uchiha Sasuke. After all, the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan are both big clans in the village. Such discussions touched Uchiha Sasuke's sensitive and fragile heart again. In addition to Baizan and Uzumaki Naruto, this Hyuga Hinata is so strong. It seems that I am not a genius, but I was born Uchiha and can practice more and study for a longer period of time than these people. Unless I can open the Sharingan, I don't deserve to be a genius. As long as I open the Sharingan, I can be considered a real Uchiha. As long as I can open the Sharingan, I will definitely be able to defeat Baizan. But no matter how unwilling Uchiha Sasuke is. Uruka on the other side also announced the results of the actual combat exercise. Winner, Hyuga Hinata. The 4th group, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji. Soon. Time passed. One student after another started fighting. But compared to the battles of Baizan, Uzumaki Naruto and others, these people are not just children fighting. It's just that there are more chakras and some rules. Of course, there are also many students who forget all the rules when they are nervous during a fight. Such a fight is really a cuckold punch of street kids. But no matter what, when today's actual combat drill is over, Baizan's pretty boy's brain was removed. What replaced it? is a civilian genius. The top student of this class. And those little girls are even more fanatical about Baizan. Perfect appearance, perfect strength, perfect personality, perfect temperament. What else can I say about such a perfect opposite? Just pursue her, be crazy about her. It is precisely because of this. Baizan's campus life has become more colorful. Hinata, you performed very well today. Baizan-kun, you looked really good today. Don't be so nervous, be more natural. Yeah. Oni-chan, I heard that you were very popular during the actual combat drill today. After seeing your strength, all the little girls were excited. Ha 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 ha, Uzumaki Naruto, was also very popular. I said that Baizan would be the first in the school, and I would be the second in the school. The sun went down. Time flies. Unknowingly, Baizan is already 7 years old, and a year has passed since he entered the Ninja Academy. In this year, Baizan not only successfully added Hong Yi's fiery fox fire talent to the storm mode wind style suit. He also completed the training of the third gate in front of the 8 inner gates, and initially mastered the power and talent of Shadow. I have to say, the power and talent of Shadow are too strong. But Baizan has only initially mastered the power and talent of Shadow. Of course, these are not the point. The point is, Baizan has successfully helped Jiafeng and Hong Yi to develop several corresponding moves. This allows Jiafeng and Hong Yi to fight against the enemy without relying on the instinct of the beast and the primitive and violent squandering of their talents. Instead, they can use moves and tactics to fight against the enemy with rules and skills. At this time in the forest, Baizan is looking calmly at the open space not far away. On the open space, Gale and Hong Yi were looking at each other. Let's start. Baizan gave the order. As Baizan's words fell, Gale and Hong Yi moved instantly. Suddenly, Gale instantly crawled up his body and opened his bloody mouth. The strong storm gathered and compressed in an instant, and spiraled. On the other side, Hong Yi also raised 4 balls of red blazing fire from his claws. With a push of his 4 claws, he flew directly into the air. Wind-style spiral heavy cannon continuous fire. Bang, 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 bang. However, in an instant, dozens of spiral heavy cannons the size of a human head, formed by the storm, shot out from Gale's mouth in an instant and bombarded Hong Yi. These spiral heavy cannons were formed by the storm, and the momentum was extremely terrifying, and the power was extremely amazing, comparable to the Rasengan strengthened by the power of the storm. The speed, momentum, power, and number are really amazing. Facing dozens of spiral heavy artillery, Hong Yi flexibly stepped on the flames and flew in the void to avoid them. After seizing an opportunity, his eyes emitted a fiery red light, and he spit out a large ball of red blazing fox fire. Hong Yi did not have the ability to transform his body into elements, but this blazing fox fire was comparable to the blood limit of the fire, stronger than the fire of Scorch style, and inferior to the fire of Amaterasu. But no matter what, this blazing fox fire is indeed extraordinary. As soon as the red blazing fox fire came out, it turned into a long flame snake under the control of Hong Yi. As the flame snake swirled, it turned into a flame Uzumaki in an instant. Fire-style fire Uzumaki. Hoo! Instantly, the fire Uzumaki devoured the oxygen in the air, growing stronger and stronger, expanding and surging, and carrying a terrifying speed, fiercely falling from the sky, suppressing the gale. The fire Uzumaki that swallowed the wind, but in just a breath, it changed from a diameter of 1 meter to a diameter of 10 meters, and then from a diameter of 10 meters to a diameter of 50 meters. This fire Uzumaki with a diameter of 50 meters fell from the sky, and its momentum was really so huge. Boom! 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 The red-clothed man dodged more than 10 spiral heavy artillery. But the rest were in a breath, and he crashed into the fire Uzumaki one after another, causing small explosions again and again. The flames were everywhere, the fire was flickering, the dust and smoke were rolling, and the aftermath was rippling. Although these spiral heavy artillery cannot completely annihilate this huge flaming Uzumaki, they can offset some of the flames and reduce some of the speed. When all the spiral heavy artillery were released, the gust of wind, which was crawling on the ground and ready to go, kicked the ground and flew directly, pounced on the red clothes in the air, and rushed towards the flaming Uzumaki. At this time of attack, the gust of wind activated the storm body, and his body turned into a ball of storm. Under the raging storm, the gust of wind turned into a large bullet condensed by the storm and spiraling continuously. Storm body spiral bullet charge. Ha! Ha! The wind was whistling, and the friction between the airflow and the airflow made bursts of piercing screams. The huge spiral bullet was really like a bullet out of the gun, and the speed was frightening. Even though the flaming Uzumaki was so powerful that it was like a net covering the sky and the earth, it was also torn open by the spiral bullet transformed by the gust of wind. Then the dog, Jiafeng, quickly came to the front of Hong Yi. It was like an electric drill, about to strangle Hong Yi into blood foam. But facing Jiafeng's move, Hong Yi's body was bursting with fire, and shrank in an instant, turning into a red fox as big as a kitten. Fire-style blazing fox fire phoenix fire technique. As soon as he opened his mouth, a group of red blazing fox fires turned into small fireballs, which turned into one beautiful arc after another in the void. At the end of these arcs, there was Jiafeng's body. Facing dozens of fireballs coming at him, Jiafeng, who turned into a storm, quickly stopped his figure, and then mobilized the power of the storm with all his strength, gathering it on his claws. Wind-style storm combat body sky-splitting claws. One claw came out. 4 sharp wind blades, each as long as 10 meters, suddenly grabbed Hong Yi in the shape of claws. Then, at the moment when the claw-shaped wind blade just came out of the claw, Hong Yi shouted triumphantly. Woo! This sound seemed to say. Explode. Boom. 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 The dozens of small fireballs were like small bombs. At this moment, under the command of Hong Yi, they suddenly exploded. The flames were splashing, the fire was shining, and the smoke was rolling. Before the smoke dissipated, the figure of Jiafeng appeared again. In the air, the flames and the storm collided again, the wind and fire intertwined, and the amazing energy was released wantonly. Not far away. Bai Zhan's eyes showed satisfaction. Yes, now Gale and Red have the fighting power comparable to that of ordinary elite Jonin. Although Gale and Red were strong before, they could not fight, but now they are somewhat capable. In this way, after I graduate, Gale, Red, Shadow, and my future summoning beast can fight for me. And I can also be called a beast tamer. Bai Zhan commented with satisfaction. That's it. After 3 hours of wind and fire, Gale and Red finally decided the winner. In this world, fire style is better than wind style. In the case of no difference in power level, Red is still better. That's right. Gale seems a little disappointed. It is obviously Bai Zhan's first summoning beast. But now it is the weakest one. Shadow has evolved 3 times, so it is naturally no match. And this Red is also 2 points stronger than it because of the attribute restraint. This made Jiafeng feel disappointed and unwilling. But dogs are dogs after all, and they are still so loyal. He walked quickly to Bai Zhan and wagged his tail in a flattering way. Not bad, you lost because of your attributes, don't be too discouraged. I will also recover a lightning-style summoning beast in the future, and your attributes will restrain the opponent at that time. Bai Zhan gently touched Jiafeng's head. Listening to Bai Zhan's words, Jiafeng's tail wagged faster. And Hong Yi, who was standing next to him, also used the talent of fire body transformation in an instant, turning himself into a small, kitten-sized red fox, and jumped onto Bai Zhan's palm in an extremely cute way. Holding Hong Yi and holding Jiafeng, Bai Zhan looked at the shadows in the forest and said directly, Shadow, come out, we should go. With Bai Zhan's voice, he fell. Only the shadows caused by branches and leaves were seen. In an instant, waves were raised, and ups and downs were raised. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. As if the shadows had life, large tracts of shadows came alive in an instant. One by one, the shadows turned into crows and flew out of the shadows in an instant, flapping their wings, and gathered together in an instant at an extremely terrifying speed. Tens of thousands of shadow crows condensed into one crow in an instant. And this crow. It was Bai Zhan's summoning beast, the shadow that had completed the 3rd evolution. Such a momentum was simply horrifying. Transformed into millions of shadows. This was the usual practice of the shadow. As soon as the shadow appeared, it landed beside Bai Zhan like a respectful and loyal guard, flapping its wings slightly, as if it was protecting Bai Zhan. With these three powerful summoning beasts, Bison walked slowly, as if he was taking a stroll. This year is the 55th year of Konoha. According to the time for the extermination of the Uchiha clan is very close. Although the world has changed a little because of me. But some things. What is destined to happen will happen. Neither Uchiha Shisui nor Uchiha Itachi seem to have the intention of notifying me. But it doesn't matter anymore. The shadow of the shadow clone has spread to every corner of Konoha. Danzo, root. While walking, Bison thought to himself, and at the same time, the corners of his mouth slightly raised an arc. At the same time, Uchiha clan land, Nanga Shrine. In front of the ancestral stone tablet of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Itachi was watching quietly, his eyes deep and solemn. Looking at the scarlet pattern in his eyes, it is the symbol of the Uchiha clan's power Mangekyo Sharingan. Under the blessing of Mangekyo Sharingan's eye power, the words on the stone tablet that Black Zetsu had tampered with were engraved in Uchiha Itachi's eyes. When Uchiha Itachi finished reading all the words on the stone tablet, he murmured in a complicated voice, "Infinite Tsukuyomi." Uchiha Itachi Mangekyo Sharingan's unique eye technique is called Tsukuyomi, which makes Uchiha Itachi have many associations. Tsukuyomi can pull the enemy's spirit into the illusion space created by Uchiha Itachi. In the Tsukuyomi world, all factors including time, place, quality, etc. are controlled by Uchiha Itachi. Using Tsukuyomi's eye technique, Uchiha Itachi is enough to torture the enemy for 72 hours in an instant, and then inflict the pain of these 72 hours on the enemy in an instant. Of course, this is just Uchiha Itachi's application of Tsukuyomi's technique. Tsukuyomi's most powerful ability is to create an illusion space where all factors including time, place, quality, etc. are controlled by the caster. If time is extended to infinity, it seems that it can indeed create real peace. But such peace is just a false peace that deceives oneself. For a while, Uchiha Itachi thought a lot in his mind. However, before Uchiha Itachi could think more, the whole face was covered by the Uzumaki mask, the one-eyed Mangekyo Sharingan, and Uchiha Obito, who was wearing a loose robe, or Uchiha Obito who called himself Uchiha Madara. It emerged directly from a distorted space. As soon as Uchiha Obito appeared, he looked at Uchiha Itachi and said with a bit of enthusiasm, "Itachi, you should understand everything after using Mangekyo to see the words on the stone tablet. Come on, tell me your choice." Turning around and looking at Uchiha Obito, Uchiha Itachi took a deep breath, thinking about the promises of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo, and thinking about his lovely brother. I join. Uchiha Itachi's voice was not fluctuating at all. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and support our channel.